you and I are good examples of this, because when we started this podcast, we started it for impact. And then we had to go learn how to make money with it. Like, that wasn't if that was the goal, I would have quit.
Yes, life is about the journey, but the journey is completely and utterly dictated by the destination you choose in advance.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode yesterday for episode number 708. It was last week's live podcast, Mirror Moments, How to Positively Receive Feedback. Today, for episode number 709, the higher you aim, the higher your standards must be.
Super difficult concept to unpack, but I'm super excited.
Yes, and if you notice any discrepancies in our audio quality or anything, it's Alan and I are remote because this week has been a little bit jeffed. So, and if you're watching on YouTube, Alan stole the studio, and here I am in my dining room.
Stole it. It's mine now.
Stole it straight from the kid. Okay, yeah. So how do we explain this concept? I have a lot of analogies that I'm going to try to use, but you and I were basically talking the other day, and Dave Meltzer explains it like this. When you decide you want to have something in your future, it already exists. It's just your job to clear the corrosion. So whatever the corrosion might be lack of belief. It might be bad habits. It might be certain limiting beliefs, past traumas, blind spots, whatever it may be. The reason that I believe a lot of people don't quote unquote clear enough of the corrosion is because they don't have a big enough reason to. So I never would have looked into many of the mirrors that I've looked into if I didn't have a giant goal, because it wouldn't be worth it. Like I was telling you before, it wouldn't be worth losing 50 pounds just to lose 50 pounds. Like there has to be a bigger reason why you're doing it. And our goal is to explain that in a tangible way today, and what that really means for you if you're watching this or listening.
Interesting way to explain this. Let's do this. So imagine you are part of a tribe, and there's two versions of the story. One, you're part of a tribe and you're the hunter. You're supposed to go hunt for food for the tribe. One person in this scenario has a 100-person tribe. The other one has a 200-person tribe. So one's trying to feed 100 people, the other one's trying to feed 200 people. This person A, who is trying to feed only 100 people, might hunt antelope, let's say, but they might overlook the elk. Whereas someone who's trying to feed a 200-person tribe might actually need to learn how to hunt elk because they're way bigger and you're going to get way more meat. Again, a weird way to explain it, but and again, I'm not a hunter. I've never really hunted in my life except for when I was 12, and I didn't end up killing anything. I think I shot a tree. But anyways, you were mentioning an analogy with a car. It's like if you're the point is this: if you're out there listening right now, the lifestyle that you want is actually a byproduct of some much larger goals. The name of this episode is, if you want to aim high, you're going to have high standards. Results are a byproduct of high standards, but high standards are a byproduct of high goals. Mm. And so we were talking about how if you set a goal to buy a car that can go 200 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour actually isn't that fast, versus setting a goal to buy a car that can go 100 miles an hour. That actually is a Toyota Camry. A Toyota Camry can make it 100 miles an hour. But that dream car that you want can go 100 miles an hour easily, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so that's the analogy here. We're going to try to explain this concept of the day-to-day lifestyle that you want. One of my clients sent me her vision board. It's not a vision board, it's a vision presentation. And it's got music to the background, and it's like a PowerPoint that kind of goes through like a collage. Awesome. Super inspiring. And all of those things that are on the vision board, like beaches and scenarios, there's like a really attractive guy on there. There's all kinds of awesome stuff, homes and villas and oceanfront property and all this awesome stuff. In a weird, interesting way, and this is the analogy I'll use. Imagine like, so Steve Jobs wanted to put a personal computer in every home in America. See, the oceanfront property is a byproduct of that goal. Steve Jobs could afford oceanfront property. He had oceanfront property. And that's like easy for him because Apple was a bigger mission than oceanfront property. Whereas if Steve's goal was oceanfront property, he might not even get there. Whereas if his goal is to put a personal computer in every home in America, of course he can afford oceanfront property. And that's the analogy I wanted to use, because it's like, if you're a listener of this show, you want to be healthier, wealthier, and more in love. But those are actually byproducts of something bigger that you're aiming for, I believe.
It's interesting because if you think of it from, so we have a lot of entrepreneurs that listen to this show. And I try to tie it to podcasting because I hear a lot of podcasters say this, but like, if you decided today, you know what, my goal, like my end game, my end goal is to make $10,000 a month. It's almost like it's going to take you'll probably most likely never will, or it will take you the entirety of your career to make $10,000 a month. Where if you just decided you want to make $40,000 a month, you'd be a quarter of the way there at 10,000.
Yeah.
And
that
I
would
know
happen quicker.
Because you have to learn.
You'd have to get a better mentor. You'd have to read a better book. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not about and you used to say this all the time. And I was like, what are you talking about, man? It's not about the goal. It's about what the goal will force you to become. And I think that, you and I are good examples of this, because when we started this podcast, we started it for impact. And then we had to like go learn how to make money with it. Yep. Like that wasn't if that was the goal, I would have quit. For sure. We didn't make money for the first 2 years. So if you're out there, Alan asked me before this episode what my intention was. I want you to understand that the results that you have in your life are heavily, heavily based on the goals you have set, because the standards that you allow for yourself are based on the goals that you've set. My favorite analogy ever of all time when it comes to standards. What's the biggest difference between McDonald's and Chick-fil-A or In-N-Out Burger? It's their standards. Like if you go, I made a joke with you the other day. You go to Chick-fil-A and you're in the drive-thru and you have an oil leak, they might get under that thing and start changing your oil. Like they go above and beyond. But that is their standard. Their standard is to deliver not only a product, but an experience, where McDonald's doesn't care about an experience. It cares about having, selling the most burgers, and that's fine. But that's their standard.
Yeah.
And think about that for a second of like, when it comes to health, how high are your standards? Like really sit down with yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. How high are my standards when it comes to health? Whether that's physical health, mental, emotional, spiritual, all of that. When it comes to wealth, how high are my standards? Like, am I okay with just getting by? If so, okay, that's you do you. But if you want more, you got to raise your standards. Love. How high are your standards for the relationships that you are willing to be in and that you allow to affect your life? And that might be the biggest one, because I think that's very, very tied to self-worth. But ask yourself that. And the standard of your life. Like, what do you actually want out of your life? How high are your standards? And do your standards reflect your results? Because I think your standards are always a little bit higher than your results. Because I don't know that you ever actually meet your standards.
No.
You try.
The other really important piece here is like, and that's the fail forward mentality of like, and I talk to Emilia about this all the time. I'm like, sweetheart, the house is never going to be done. Like, we're never going to stop optimizing the house. Like, we have it set up really, really well in comparison to when we first moved in. Yeah. But like, we're not going to be like, okay, house is done now. Like, no, we're going to continue to improve forever. And by the way, the moment the house is done, we're going to sell it and go buy another one, or rent it out and go buy another one. So I think that people misunderstand this. I was on the phone with a client yesterday, and brand new client, awesome. She was a group coaching before, and she has ridiculously higher goals than everyone else in her life by a significant margin. And I told her, to be completely honest with you, and I'm the only one who will probably tell you this, that is a massive, massive mistake. Because I said, I bet you've told no one that you hired a coach. She's like, I told nobody. I said, okay, let's dig into that. Why? She's like, everybody would think it's weird. I said, okay, in my circle, no one would think it was weird. In my circle, it would be weird if you didn't have a coach. See the difference?
Mm.
And I said, here's why. And I mean this with love. All of your associations from college and from high school, I would be willing to bet that you have way higher goals and dreams than all of them. True or false? She's like, absolutely true. I said, that is a problem. How much do you feel like you belong in those crowds? She said, 3. I said, that is your biggest issue. You have higher goals, AKA higher standards than everyone else in your life, and you feel like you have to be smaller to fit in. Kevin and I made 6 figures when we were 26. I was over that. But the point is this, we, compared to our peers, were actually on the higher end of financial income. True or false?
True.
True. Okay. We, 2 years later, were in a house with a mentor who thought he was broke and he had $13 million. He made 600 grand for 1 quarter working for a corporation in the financial industry. See, we thought 6 figures was a lot of money. It all depends on, just like I once thought that bench pressing 135 in high school was a lot of weight. And then you go to the gym with our buddy Matt and he's doing 225 for reps like it's nothing. It all depends on your standards. It all depends on your associations. It all depends on your goals. And Les Brown says this: people don't fail in life because they aim too high and miss. People fail in life because they aim too low and they hit. I have another client who literally his main focus for all of his 23 years of life, at least since he was a kid, play football, get an engineering degree, get a really good job. He's like, I achieved all that. Now what?
Hello, my name is Dr. Tarryn MacCarthy, and I'm host of the Business of Happiness podcast. When I met Kevin and Alan 2 years ago, I had no idea of how much impact they would have not only on the success for my business, but also on my life. They've given me enormous perspective and true strategies, true tactics to take in my everyday business plan and in my life plan to make an even greater success. Kevin and Alan, thank you so much. I couldn't even begin to express my gratitude for all you've done for me. And if you're looking for similar mentorship, I highly recommend these incredible experts at the Next Level University.
I feel lost. I feel like I don't know what to do. Like, I've achieved all my dreams and my goals. Like I said, honestly, I bet you feel like a lot of your peers right now are kind of done. They're kind of like done now. They're riding the corporate train. That's fine. Mm. He's like, yeah, honestly, we're all just going to the job. We're all making money and we're all kind of saving for retirement now. And honestly, all my friends are partying. I said, that's okay if that's what they want. Is that what you want? And so I told him, to be honest with you, you got to set some higher goals. You achieved all your dreams and that's awesome. Great. Now what? Set dreams, set goals that you can't achieve, but that the byproducts of those dreams and goals will be the lifestyle you want. Kevin and I will never be done. We're never going to actually be like, okay, holistic self-improvement is now, the whole globe knows of Next Level You now. Like we're at the top of the, it's never going to happen. Right. And so all the beautiful, wonderful, amazing things that have happened to us over this last 5.5 year journey are actually byproducts of a mission that we'll never actually accomplish. We'll just spend our entire life trying to accomplish this infinite mission. And we'll get better and better and better at it, but it's never like there's no end. And the very last thing I'll say, Kev, is this. I was on the phone with that client yesterday, the new client, and I said, I know that people say life's about the journey, and you've heard me say this a dozen times, and if you're listening to the show often, you know that I say this. But what people fail to realize is that, yes, life is about the journey, but the journey is completely and utterly dictated by the destination you choose in advance. If you want to have a destination wedding in Costa Rica, that's a very different experience, aka journey, aka wedding, than having it, in the middle of the winter in New England. See, the destination dictates the journey. And that's what I think I've always kind of intuitively known and lived by, but I don't know if other people were ever really sold on it.
I wasn't for a long time. It's weird. It's almost like, if you don't feel like you have the belief to set a large goal or a goal that will stretch you, I think that's a good way to put it, like stretch you to the max that you know, should be stretched. It's almost like it's just the percentage thing, I think. It's like going back to what I said of like, if you want to make $10,000 a month, if you get 25% of the way there, it's 2,500. If you get halfway there, it's 5,000. If you get 3/4 of the way there, it's 7,500. If you get all the way there, which most people don't ever, then it's 10,000. But if you wanted 40,000, a quarter is 4 times as much. So it's like the quality of your journey, and it's probably not like this across the board, but the quality of your journey increases with the level of the goals you set because you have higher quality problems. Alan, I would rather worry about how to make $25,000 a month, like how to go from, you know, as a business, how to go from 20K to 25K a month versus like back in the day when it was trying to go from $2,000 a month to being able to pay our bills.
Yeah.
You know, and I just think that it's predicated on the goal. And I'll say this too. When it comes, so one of the reasons I wanted to do this episode, because I was on a call with one of my clients the other day, and he was talking about the fear of outgrowing his partner. And I said, do you know what outgrowing actually means? Like, what does that mean to you? And he went through it. And I said, you know what you're really afraid of? You're afraid that your goals are bigger, so you're going to have to clear more corrosion, and you're going to have to raise your standard of living beyond what your partner is willing to do. Because there's no point in going to the gym 7 days a week if you don't care about fitness.
Yeah.
There's no point in dialing in your finances if you don't care about that. There's no point in looking in the mirrors and having those hard conversations if you're not trying to increase who you are as a person. If you're not trying to get to the next level, there is not as much of a necessity to have next level habits. It honestly is a giant pain in the ass.
Yeah, you don't need to.
It's a pain in the ass.
There's no reason to. If you don't want to get to the next level, there's no reason.
Right.
If you don't have any goals, there's no reason for. If we didn't have our mission, why would we be here at 10 a.m.?
Right, exactly.
There's no reason we would do this, Kevin.
Right. It's so important for you out there right now. It's like, you know, I don't necessarily know that people need more motivation. I think they need more goals that actually move them.
Yeah.
That's it.
They need a deeper understanding of this.
Yeah.
Kev, if our goal was to do 700 episodes, why would we, for what?
Right.
You know what I mean?
To say we did, I think that's so common. I'm in these Facebook groups with a bunch of podcasters, and it's like, you know, I'd like to get to 1,000 downloads. I'd like to get to 10,000. I'll do 100 episodes. Yeah. I'm going to do 2 years. And if I don't pop, like, you know, it's not meant to be. And it's like, well, you're already, that's literally like
out of the gate, unless you get lucky. Yeah.
It's like saying, I'm going to start this relationship and like, see what happens. Not I'm going to start this relationship and make it the best I can possibly make it with the collaboration of my partner.
Yeah.
It's a different
game. A completely different and a different life.
Right.
Those are one of them is I'm gonna go into this relationship and see how it goes. And the other one is I'm committed to having the most extraordinary relationship possible and learning and doing everything I can to make that happen. Kev, those are two different lives.
Yeah.
And you and I are very blessed to have found this out at a young age, because I know that wasn't always our intention prior to your suicidal ideation and my car accident. I mean, we learned this, and we're very blessed, and obviously all our listeners are learning it now. But the last thing I'll say, and we got to go, your results are a byproduct of who you become as a person. Who you become as a person is a byproduct of your standards, and your standards are a byproduct of the height, how high you shoot, how high your goals are. So if you aim for really high goals, you'll have to have high standards. And if you have high standards, you'll have to become a amazing, extraordinary human. And if you're an amazing, extraordinary human, you'll have an incredible life. That's the formula. So aim high.
I think, standards determine quality.
Yeah.
The quality of your standards determines the quality of your life. Like, you and I have, I mean, I was going to say you and I have been to some really nice restaurants. Like, that's not true. I've been to like some, but not like the finest of the fine. But what separates them?
We have. Our mentor took us, remember?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking like, you know,
Oh,
like the finest of the fine in LA or wherever, New York, wherever the nicest restaurants. I don't even know. But what's the difference between a $20 steak and a $250 steak? It's the standards associated with that. That's all it is. It's the same cut of meat from the same animal. It's the standards of the chef, the standards of the people who do the service, the standards of the restaurant, the standards of the music, the lighting, the plates, the forks, the utensils, the napkins, the everything. The valet, like, it's the standards that determine the results, and it determines the quality. So I
Everybody
think
check in with their standards and the
check
height
in
of
with
their
your
goals.
standards. Yeah. The people who are winning, well, I won't say that. A lot of people who are winning at a high level, it's because they just have higher standards than other people.
Because they've set higher goals typically.
Yeah. And they know that's what it takes.
Amen, brother.
My goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, talk about group coaching, Alan.
September 7th, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be the first session. Group coaching is going to be 90 days, 3 months, peak performance tracking, group of 10 people, all committed to having the highest possible standards. Kevin and I, so I work with many people that were in group coaching. We had 30 people go through group coaching, 3 different groups. One was Tribe of Abundance, one was Ambitious Army, one was Gratitude with Attitude. All of them have people off to the races, so to speak. And some of them have never looked back. I mean, there's people in book club, there's people going to relationship talks events, there's listeners to this show, people in Next Level Nation. Like, the group coaching groups they have massive momentum in their lives. And I know it's because they finally got around a group of people that actually want to see them succeed. And that's what group coaching is all about. So it's opening. It starts September 7th. It's bi-weekly coaching with Kevin and myself. And you're going to get peak performance tracking. We're going to set 3 main goals: health, wealth, and love. And we're going to help you actually achieve them. But this will be a springboard. So basically in Mario Kart, you got to go off the path a little bit to hit that booster. That's what group coaching is. Go off the path, pay the $97 per month, go to nextleveluniverse.com, click group coaching, check it out. It will change your life. There's no version of it. And if for whatever reason you feel like it wasn't valuable, we will give your money back within the first month.
And just like when it comes to value, we have different things that we do. We do the podcast, we do social media, we do the live podcast, we do the Q&A, book club. Like, there's a lot of things that we do, and it's our goal to have different things at different prices. So if you can't afford one-on-one coaching, then group coaching is a good thing. If you say, you know what, $97 a month, like right now I'm strapped, work's been slow, whatever, we have a course that's $47. Right. So no matter where you are, there is a next level for you. And it's that way with our pricing as well. Again, we are a business and we're running a business. So obviously making money is important, but impact is just as important, if not more important for us. It's definitely more important for Alan. I know that for sure. But no matter where you are, no matter what your bank account looks like, there is some sort of option for you, because that's how we all start. We all start somewhere, and we have to lean into who we want to become to get to that next level. So we have a course as well on the website. Just go to nextleveluniverse.com. You'll find it.
And this is the group coaching and the course. This is what Kevin and I create is what we wish we had at the beginning of our journey. Everything, coaching, group coaching, courses, that all of that. It's what we wish we had, and what would have accelerated us far more. We would have gotten here way quicker if we had invested in ourselves earlier on.
Very true. Anything else?
That's it, brother.
In closing, ladies and gentlemen, next episode tomorrow, you will hear our Q&A from last week. I am afraid to give feedback because I am afraid to hurt people. That's definitely something I have dealt with. I know Alan has dealt with that as well, and I know a lot of people do. So make sure you check out that live Q&A. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. And we do not have fans. We have 0 fans. 0. Only family.
None. Family. Talk to you soon.
Bye.